Shows family, is Nomsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Led from Within. So I'm on my own today, guys, and please continue to pray for Carol Ann. She's still in a hospital, and we are praying and hoping that she will find healing that she desires from God. And please, whenever you pray, don't forget to put her in prayers. She's not in a good place at the moment, but she's, as you know her, she's always cheerful, and she's also a fighter as well. So please do pray for her. And so let's get into the topic. So our topic today is how to spice up your relationship and get out of the roommate stage. And in this video, I'm going to actually discuss how to spice up your relationship and get out of the roommate stage. And relationship can be very, very, very challenging. But with some efforts and some help from this video, hopefully I can help you to get out of the romance stage and enter onto the relationship stage. No one wants to live with a friend if they're living with their spouse. No one wants to feel alone. And so it's very, very important to actually make some changes in your relationship and to communicate. Communication style is very, very important to setting boundaries, and it's really, really important. So let's jump into it. What are the signs of a roommate stage? So recognizing that you are in the roommate stage of your relationship is very, very important. Is very, very is very crucial. So the signs are, when you are in a relationship, your relationship has to have romance, lack of physical intimacy. And the lack of physical intimacy is physically affection. It's a physical affection, and such as kissing, such as hugging, such as holding hands. All these things have a significant decrease on becoming or becoming rare in a relationship. When you become a friend, it's like sometimes when people say when they have children take over their lives, so they don't really have the time to when their spouse come from work to give them kisses because they are busy with their children, or they're busy doing what they do. But it is important. Sorry, I'm just going on Facebook. Is very, very important when you are in a relationship with your spouse. They are not your friend. They are your friend, of course, but when a relationship feels like you have a friend, it's not exciting anymore. When a relationship feels like one person is making an effort and the other person is not making an effort, it's not exciting anymore. And when you know that you are in a relationship, but you feel alone, is not exciting anymore. So it's very, very important to actually, when you meet with somebody, the connection is met. When that connection is met, you hold hands because you are trying to win that person. You're trying to show them that I'm the one. I'm the one that you can, I can, although you are happy, but I can contribute to your happiness. And hold hands, open doors, just those little things that people take for granted. Kissing and all these things that people think that, oh wow, I can't hold hands, hugging, I cannot hug, or even limited communication and not communicating your desires to your spouse, or not communicating your want to your spouse, is very, very important to actually communicate with your spouse and discuss things that matters in a relationship, like a household, chores, bills, and scheduling times to spend time together, and just communicating. Find that a meaningful, deep conversation with your spouse is very, very important. And also the signs, absence of date nights. That means when there is no date nights anymore, it means you're living in that place of a roommate. So you rarely go on dates, spend quality one-on-one time together, or outside of routine or anything. So those are the things that are really, really important in a relationship that people take for granted. Sometimes you hear people saying, okay, now there's cost of living. Cost of living is very, very high. But people, they will use that as an excuse. But you can find ways of having date nights, even having movie nights. It's cheap. There's Netflix, they have movies. And even sometimes when movies are coming out, they are not expensive. If you don't want to go to the cinema, you can watch at home. I think it's £20. In the UK, if you buy a movie coming out, I think it's £20. You can just buy it. And also independent living, living separate lives. Those are the signs of a roommate. And there's no hobbies, not engaging in hobbies or any activities together. It's just somebody is living that life and somebody is living that life. No surprises anymore. There's no surprises or unexpected gestures or love affections between you and your spouse. So those are the signs as well. And minimal emotional connection. So you may feel you may feel emotional distance because like you are living with a friend rather than a romantic partner. So it's very, very important not to take each other when you are in a relationship. It's very important not to take each other for granted, because when you take each other for granted, anything can go wrong in a relationship. Neglecting romance, you haven't celebrated special occasions such as like maybe anniversaries and or milestones in a long time in a relationship, just to celebrate the gratitude of being together, and the lack of affection, expressing the love and appreciations, just saying I love you and giving compliments to each other. Those are the little things that people, they take for granted. And conflict all the time. When you are with somebody, your relationship is all about conflict after conflict. Instead, that means that there is an issue that needs to be addressed. Sometimes people avoid conflict. They avoid talking about problems, and that can lead to unresolved situation. This is something that I don't like myself personally. If I have a problem with somebody, I don't like sweeping things under the carpet, which is I've seen mostly here in UK. People don't like a confrontation and they don't like solving problems. And if you are in a relationship, people don't sort problems. They don't like confrontation, and they're like, they prefer things to be left unsaid. So it's very, very important to, when you are in a relationship with somebody, to climb every mountain. Leave every mountain and climb. Just climb it. If there is a problem in this department of a relationship, talk about it. I'm not saying you say, oh, I saw Nomsa or Etenkosi talk shows, and she seems to think when I'm looking at our relationship. No, you have to evaluate your relationship based on you. If there is a problem, like you watch this video and you see that there is actually a problem in a relationship, talk about it. Talk to your spouse about it without comparing them to somebody else. We live in this world where men would talk to their friends, and their friends will express how happy they are in their relationship, and then somebody will start comparing their relationship with the other people. That's not right. Never ever compare your spouse with somebody else. They are individual. They are unique. That person might be experiencing a happy relationship with that moment. Relationship is all about the challenges. It brings challenges, and that's what makes couples live a long time. Because when you face the challenges, being able to conquer those challenges together without comparing your relationship is a beautiful thing. It's so beautiful. I don't compare my life with anybody, to be honest, because comparison is a thief of joy. When you find yourself comparing your life with somebody, that means you are stealing your joy. A blessing is a blessing. If a problem is in that relationship, you have to learn how to solve that problem. As a person, you just solve it based on you, based on the two of you, because we're all individual. Couples are different, and also loss of interest in each other's lives. And you find the other person, they are no longer curious about or engaging in your partner's daily experiences or aspiration. Me, if you come to this house, everyone says I'm nosy, but I'm not. I'm always curious about what my family get up to. I ask questions. What do you get up to? And they're like, oh, she's like, wow, she wants to know. I'm like, yes, I want to know. So tell me what you get up to. Or if somebody is watching the TV program, I don't watch TV a lot. So I show interest even with my children. I ask them, what are you watching? And what do you like about that program? Just for me to show that, just to show support, even though the program is not mine. So it's important to actually show support. Even to their dad, I ask questions and they'll be like, why are you asking? I'm like, no, I just want to know. I'm just curious. So sometimes it's good to be curious about things. It's good to be curious about things instead of just neglecting each other. So it's very, very important. And remember, relationships are very, very challenging. And the experiences that people go through, they might be different. So if you are in a roommate stage, you have to act in that relationship rekindle your relationship is very, very important. The connection, when you connect with somebody in a relationship, is very, very essential. You connect with your spouse, because when we connect with our spouse, so we might have sex every day. There are some people that, wow, they have sex every day, but the connection and having intimacy every day is different. The connection is making the connection real, because I might have sex, lousy sex, that has no meaning, lousy kiss, that has no meaning. On my spouse, they walk in, I just give them a lousy kiss. That has no meaning. That does not mean anything. Just, I'm used to it. I just give them a kiss. But if I just connect with somebody properly, when you connect with somebody, two things are merged. The spirits are merged together in the spirit realm. When they're merged together in this thing, they know that if there is a proper connection, it can never be broken. But if you do sex because you watch some videos or you just want to get rid of stress, some people, they have sex to get rid of stress. They say sex is good for you for stress. But we don't do sex because we want to get rid of stress. We have sex with our spouse because we love them. We want to connect with them. We want to stay connected to them. We appreciate them. We want them to have pleasure. We don't just do things because we're just doing it and we just get out and we just do it for the sake of doing it, like a routine. There's some people, I can tell you, they have sex every day. It's like a routine, but they fight every single day. They like hit each other. But if we come to a point where we connect with our spouse, there's two worlds that merges together. When these two worlds merges together, let's say this is Nomsa, and this says, let me find my spouse. My spouse, let's say, is Romeo. I'm just saying the name because my neighbor is called Romeo. So then we say the name is Romeo, Nomsa and Romeo. And then when these two people merges together in our world. So if I connect with my spouse properly, it means I want to get to know my spouse, what makes them the person that they are. So I will take time in my heart wanting to get to know them. They tell me their story, their life story. When they tell me their life story every single day, they tell me what they get up to. I'm staying connected to their story. I know I'm having stress with the kids. I've got children. I'm having stress with the children. But I have to meditate every day to make sure that I stay connected to my inner being. If I stay connected to my inner being, it means anything that comes my way, I'm in the present moment. So when my spouse comes in and they tell me their story, what they get up to in the day at work, what happened, I give them a kiss. I welcome them. My spirit and his spirit emerges together. Give them kiss, a welcome kiss. I mean it. Not give them a sloppy kiss and just go. I mean it that moment. Get to connect with them and just tell me about your day. How is your day been? Just stay focused on that. You just listen to them. The power of listening. It's very, very important. You just listen to your spouse. How is your day been? Tell them about your day. If your day has been stressful, just tell them about your day. Don't just wanting to know their day. You are important too. Just to tell them about your day. It's a conversation flows, and then you just sit down, have meals together. And that meal time, if you have kids or don't have kids, that's when everybody can say what they've been up to as well, and just check on each other if everybody's happy. And all those things is the small things that people take for granted. If your spouse goes to work and they come home, where if your home is a war home, not a happy home or a peaceful home, all they want to do is, even if they don't drink, they want to finish work and go to the pub, or they want to finish work and go to a restaurant and just sit there just to buy time. So make your home, welcome home for your spouse to be there, to be happy. And let them get excited when they want to come home, just by making sure that home is their home. So why is it essential to address these stages of roommate? Is a critical component if you want your relationship to work. There are so many people who are in a relationship, but they are miserable, really, really miserable. Perceiving emotional connection, the emotional connection between you and your partner is the foundation of a healthy and fulfilling relationship, is the critical component of your happiness. So if you are not happy, neglecting this connection, it can lead to emotional distance, miserable, and dissatisfaction. It can lead to potential causing irreparable damage to each other. Because when people are not happy, they are not happy. I'm not saying the relationship has to be perfect. It has to be lovely and glowy all the time. Every relationship has its own challenges. So when a relationship has its own challenges, so you have to be aware what are the challenges that you face in that relationship. Don't be somebody that sweep things under the carpet. You want to make somebody happy, but you're miserable. So all you have to do is communicate with that person, communicate with the person you are dating, and reignite passion. Reigniting passion is very, very important. Intimacy and intimacy and passion are the critical component of in a relationship. When you are in a roommate stage, which means it's a lack of physical and emotional intimacy that can lead you frustrated. So that's why it's very, very important for a human being to have some physical passion, touching and everything. But at the same time, for you to feel alive as a human being, you have to have some sports that you do. When you have some sports, the reason why is very, very important. Go to the gym. If you cannot go to the gym, go for a walk. Walk is a sport. Go for a walk. We think that walking is not good. It doesn't help. It does help actually. Go for a walk or go for swimming. Go and do other things, sports. Find anything that interests you and just go and do that one thing that makes you happy. If you do that one thing that can activate your inner being, your spirit man, it means you are able to share that happiness within with your spouse. But if you are somebody who don't do any exercises, your body it dies inside. So we need physically to be active so we can do some physical things. We can touch when we are with our spouse. We can feel alive. You know what I mean? That we can connect and just go into a deep connection. And also, what is more important in a relationship, just to keep things very, very simple, one thing that is important is if you meet your spouse from the beginning, whatever you do that moment, as you grow, things might change. Things will change. So when things change, let it change for better, not for worse. So when things change, you're growing, there are some activities that maybe you do when, there are some activities that you did when you guys met each other. Maybe some of those activities, like you were doing it and then you grow, you want to do other activities. But for me, the activities that I did when I met my spouse, I'm still doing them today, because I'm not a person that does things today and then I can try new things. But the things that I love, the things that I did before I met him, I'm still doing them now. And some of them I do them on my own. Some of my activities, I do them on my own. Some of the activities, I do them with my spouse. So it is very, very important not to lose your identity in that process of living the life with somebody in your life. And we can reduce trying to fit somebody in, welcome them into our world, so that we can do things together. But at the same time, keep your identity alive. Like myself, there is something that if I was to meet somebody and say, I don't like sports. I love sports. Even if I don't go and watch football for maybe 2 months or 3 months, I love sports. I love it. Just keeps me, it just makes me happy. Just is all those things that like if I go and watch football live, I'm very noisy. I like to go with somebody who understands what happiness is, because when I celebrate, I like to celebrate. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but when I'm celebrating, you know that Nomsash is celebrating. So I love living a life. I know that if I don't live a life, I don't live the life that I want. Who is gonna live it for me? So I don't really like holding myself back. I like to do things, and I'm not a person that says, okay, when I have this, I'm gonna do this. If I want to do it, I want to do it. So life is too short, to be honest with you, to actually hold back. If you are somebody, there are some people that they want to enter a relationship, but they're like, there is no good people out there, or they've had a disappointment, or they're in a relationship, works takes over, and the children, it takes over. I love my children so much, but I still want to be in a relationship as well. I still want to be happy in my relationship. So it has to, yeah, you have to fit everything in. You can't say, the children have taken over, I don't have the time, or just live a miserable life. If you feel that the stress can take over, because having children is very, very challenging, trying to fit everything in. But meditate. I meditate myself. I love God, so I have my time with God. Sometimes if I like, I pray every day, I fast. When I'm fasting, it means it's time for me with God to actually uh, connect with my inner being, so I can communicate with the Holy Spirit, and also so I can activate my winning spirit. My winning spirit is the spirit that drives me every day, every single day, which is everybody has an inner being spirit that drives them every day. But when that spirit is dead, it's not alive, maybe it feels like it's been neglected, so there's nowhere you can get creative. So I love getting creative. I love doing things that I love. So when I fast, when I pray to God, it helps me to actually activate my inner being. It gives me the energy, even in my body. I want my body to look so alive. I don't just want to be walking zombie. I don't want to be like, I don't want all those things. I just want to look like a living human being. And so those things, find the things that makes you happy and just do them. Don't hold your life and say, I'm gonna hold my life, or I'm in a relationship, I'm not saying be selfish. If you are in a relationship, don't drift away. Prevent drifting away from your relationship. And when you drift away, is a stage where everything gradually, just the connection, it breaks. Remember, the connection is in the inner being. When that connection, the minute somebody feels they are not being heard, or there is no connection, that means you need to reconnect. And reconnecting, it means we don't reconnect like blaming each other. We reconnect with each other, recognizing that this person's needs are not being met, or my needs are not being met. So therefore, I'm gonna do whatever it takes in my relationship to make sure that my relationship's needs are met. So those are really, really important things that if you don't do them, it can lead to unhappiness. It can lead to dissatisfaction. Sorry, the word is gone in my head. So I address these things, and by addressing them, it can help you to actually improve things into your relationship and lead to a fulfillment and a content partnership, because we want to be partners. We want to with our spouse. We want to live a happy life. Even if when there's a conflict in relationship, we want to make sure that we are still connected, and also setting a positive example is very, very important. If you are in a long-term relationship and you have children, and your friends, maybe they have children as well, so be a positive example by, if you feel that you are in what I will avoid, I've always said this, what I will avoid when you feel that you are in a room stage relationship, don't talk to your spouse, family, no matter how close you are, don't talk to them. They are not your best friends, and they will always take their child's side, no matter how close you are. I was with my ex, I was so close to his mom. I think she was the woman that she helped me so much when I gave birth to my daughter, to our daughter. She was always there. Every weekend, they'll come and pick our daughter so that we can spend time together because they've retired. But we were so close. But whatever the problem that I had with my ex, I wouldn't discuss it with her. I'll always discuss it with my friends, because at the end of the day, we can say what we want to say, and this person is their child, so they will always take their child. Even if you are a man, no matter how close you are, just try to keep your relationship separate with the family. Even with my own family, I don't talk about my spouse, because I don't want them, when we sort out our problems, they end up judging the other person. So I don't want them to judge my spouse if I have a problem, and then I go and discuss it with my family, and then when I'm happy, and then they will still judging my spouse. So it's very, very important to talk to your friends. If you have friends that you trust and you know that they can direct you to the right direction, but if you feel that you don't have really good friends, have a coach. There's lots of coaches here. If you go on social media, there's lots of coaches that can add value. They give free information, even at Ngozi talk shows. I am a relationship coach, so you can send me a message. I get people on Facebook sending me messages. Sometimes they feel they're stuck in one thing, and sometimes they send me a message with a problem, and then I communicate 2 or 3 messages, everything is okay. So you just have to find that person where you can just communicate and find and just talk to them, and just avoid the conflicts, because families sometimes it can cause, 1 minute you go to this person and then sometimes they can take things back. So we avoid taking things back, and also we avoid the friends that don't keep things, they take things back to your spouse. So don't speak to them. If you have those kind of friends, we speak to friends that have our back, that will listen to us, give us advice if it's needed, or just listen. So we want those kind of friends that are champion in our lives, that will listen when we speak to them, and not taking things back. And a fulfilling relationship is very essential. Every relationship, when we say a fulfilling relationship is potential, is very, very important. Every relationship has untapped potential for growth. So make sure that you climb every mountain. It could be the mountain of joy that you need to climb it. And it could be the mountain of finding that deeper connection. Make an effort and find it. Address the roommate stages. It will allow you to unlock the potential experiences, and live that richness partnership in your relationship. Avoid resentment and unresolved issues. Avoid them. Whenever there is a problem, just resolve it. And If you don't resolve things, it can lead to resentment. It can lead to so many things. Confronting the roommate stage enables you to address the issues that constructively, and they prevent you from fostering damage and damaging in that relationship. So when you confront things, you are actually breaking the walls, because when somebody, if there is a resentment in a relationship, this is where the other person will end up building a wall of protection. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want to confront things. They feel comfortable where things are, and they don't want to talk about things. They just want to be that living in that friendship or relationship, because they're like, I don't want confrontation. I don't want to talk to this person, because if I do, this is how they are going to behave. So make sure, if you are in a relationship, we live in a very, very stressful life. This world is so stressful. Like I have 2 children. I have a business. I'm studying at university. So all these things, I have to make sure that I've written my assignment. I have to make sure that my children are fed. I have to make sure that my clients, they have whatever they need, they're satisfied. I have to make sure that my spouse is satisfied. I have to make sure that I'm satisfied. So it is demanding. So we need to make sure that we don't build walls, like by not confronting things, avoiding things causes resentment. Where somebody build a wall, that wall becomes your identity in a relationship where you end up questioning you. Am I enough? Am I not enough? Why is this person not doing this? Why is this person not doing this? Why? Just ask questions. Sometimes when I say talk to your friends, it's just in general. For me, when I have a problem, I think it's 1%. I don't actually talk about my problems with people. I ask the manufacturer. Whenever I have a problem, I ask the person that I'm dating. I discuss it with the person that I'm dating. The reason why I discuss it with the person that I'm dating is because they can give me the answer that I need. And if they can give me the answer that I need, then it means I can be set free from my worries. But if I go and ask somebody else, they are going to take me to another wonderland where I'm going to wonder what my spouse are thinking. So what I do whenever I have a problem, I will fast. Once I fast, I have communicated with God first. Once I communicate with God, I meditate in that problem, I meditate about it. And once I meditate about it, then I'm ready to solve it. Or sometimes if I take it to God, it's a battle. I take it to God and meditate about it. It gets sorted out itself without me saying anything. It gets sorted out. That's why I'm saying when these 2 things are merged together and they are not faking it. So we have been in a relationship and don't fake it. You might have sex 5 days a week. If you are having sex 5 days a week, minute, connection has to be real. Everything that happens in that process is got to be real. You got to get excited. Get excited to have sex with your spouse. Get excited to touch your spouse. Get excited to hug your spouse. Get excited to kiss your spouse. Get excited to be in that present moment with your spouse. Don't just do it because, you know what, I'm so stressed. I had stress at work and sex, it makes me feel good. So I'm going to have sex as my physical exercises. And tomorrow I'm going to just feel a little bit okay. So it doesn't work like that. That's not solving relationship problems. So the connection, when the connection is real, it brings joy to your life. It brings happiness to your life. And so it's very, very important to make sure that we are actually connected to our spouse, and a strengthening relationship is very, very important as well, to strengthen your relationship with somebody and demonstrate your commitment. Like what I was saying, whatever you do in a relationship, make sure that you mean what you say you're going to do and stay committed to it. If it is today, there's no sex, I'm not gonna have sex. I'm committing to my, I want to sleep, honey. It's a choice that is being made from the heart. But if you feel like, I don't feel like having sex today, but I'm just going to do it anyway to make my spouse happy, what is that? That is sloppy sex. It doesn't mean anything in your inner being. So let's make everything real, and the connection, it has to be real. If I don't feel like it that night, I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I've worked very hard today, honey. I just want to go to sleep. But make sure it's not make sure that it's not a habit where you neglect your spouse because you are tired. That's why it's very important to meditate. It's very important to actually do exercises. Is very important just to do whatever works for you. I do exercises every day. I have my own time where I go running, and I meditate. Like, as I said, I meditate in the Word of God. I fast. And like right now, we are fasting for 70 days. We start our fast midnight and we break it Monday, and Fridays we break it 5. And I think there's around the world, there's about over maybe 1 million people that are fasting through MFM. So we do that every year, where we all gather together and just activate our inner being. And it helps. If you have something, some sort of belief that you can fall into, and just use it to keep yourself alive. So it's very, very important, and it helps you to become the person that you want to become. And in that relationship, because no one wants to date somebody, no one wants to go on dates. And when they meet the other person, and they want them to be their just best friend, roommate. Okay, you pay my bills, honey, and that's okay. You know, I really don't want to leave him because he makes me, he pays the bills, he does everything in the house, but relationship wise, I feel like I'm so alone. To me, every relationship has its challenges, but when you're in a relationship, you feel so alone. So that means that something has to be done. And make sure that you communicate with your spouse, make sure they understand what you feel. And personal growth is very, very important. When you're addressing roommate stage, personal growth is the critical component of how you are able to connect with your spouse. That can lead to personal development and self-discovery. And addressing roommate stage is not about revitalizing your relationship, but it's also about you nurturing the love, and nurturing the love within yourself as well, and nurturing the intimacy as well, and nurturing the connection within yourself, within the other person. And it can bring you together. It helps you to actually have the gratitude of what brought you together in the first place. And it's an investment. We invest in finances. We have to invest in our relationship as well. So when we invest in our relationship, that means we can have a happy relationship in the future and in the present moment. And create goals as well is very, very important when we are in a relationship. But when you create goals, don't create goals and live in that 5 years. Be open to honest to somebody. Start by being open. Communicate your want to your spouse. How do you want your spouse to your world? Design your own world. To share your thoughts, share your feelings. If they are difficult to express, if you're finding difficult to express your feelings, find a coach that can help you to actually learn to express, or meditate. When you meditate, you activate your inner being, your winning spirit man. When somebody is born, you have a book of life. When you have a book of life, you have a horse that you ride is for success. You have a house that occupies in heaven. You have a house, God gives you a house of your blessings. In that book of life, where you have a house, you have the key, you have your blessings, and then you have your inner spirit man. This is when your inner spirit man is your world, is where it's your guidance, like an angel that guides you. And then when you enjoy life and you want more, then that's when you invite the Holy Spirit to your life as well, to guide you through life, and then you can lead a life that you want, unapologetic. But when we don't do these things, we don't meditate. This world is a very, very stressful world. So that inner spirit man, your inner being dies inside. It's like it needs to be noticed. But if you are not doing any sort of exercises, no meditation, nothing, so can you imagine your life will be like a stressful anxiety zombie, where the anxiety, the depression, the insecurities, where they live on together, they live there. But when you do exercises, you go out every single day, self-care, you take good care of yourself. So that means you are able to communicate to your want, honey, this is how I want you to, this is how I want to be treated. Be open to your spouse. And we're not talking about arrogant. It's you communicating your wants, your desires, your world. And when you communicate to somebody, you letting them know this, hey, how are you doing, honey? Hope you're okay. So yeah, so this is where you communicate your wants and you communicate your desires. So when you communicate your desires, hi guys, feel free to comment if you want to comment. I love to hear your stories about love. And when you communicate your desires, it helps you to actually connect properly with that person and be vulnerable. And I communicate my desires because if I don't communicate my desires, no one will know how I want to be treated. God, Christians, those who are Christians, they know that when you go to church, you open the Bible, there are commandments, there are 10 commandments, where God says, if you want to follow me, this is the character that I expect. So in that relationship, you have to have principles in place. I'm not saying create rules, arrogant rules, no. I'm saying have the principles in place. It's like if you come to my house, what I teach here is something that I live by. I don't come and teach on Facebook, and at home I do completely different things. I don't. When I'm saying I pray to God, I mean it. When I have problems, I pray. If my relationship is not working, I take it to God. I pray about it before I can talk to my spouse. If my business is not working, I take it to God. If I meet a client and that client is not in a good place, the time they leave, I get down on my knees and I ask God to find courage to enter that person and just give them that deliverance that they need so they can find the breakthrough if they're in the dark place. Finding love sometimes, or being in a relationship, it can take us to the places where we don't want to be. It can take us to the places where we feel all alone, or it can leave a clever person to nothing. When a relationship is not working, you'll be surprised how, like a woman who is smart, who is clever, how they can just enter into depression just like that, just because a relationship is not working. Yes, I agree. Some men are very hard to communicate with. I agree with you. That's why you have to pray for your men, meditate for your men. If somebody is really, really hard to, if they're really, really hard to communicate with, do what I do. Me, I do not solve people's problems. What I do is I show my spouse the character or my true character, the real me. And I communicate with them. This is my desires. I don't fight with my spouse. I think we fight maybe once a year, where if you find me fighting with my spouse, it means he has really, really annoyed me. And I have to say, God, please forgive me. But I don't really go into that fight because I pray a lot. I never used to do this, but I fast 3 days a week or 2 days a week, or I fast like right now, we're fasting for 70 days. We started in August, we finish in October. So I do all those things because I want my relationship to work. If my daughter comes to me and tell me that she has a problem, she knows that I'll take good care of it by speaking to God. Honestly, I take good care of things. God, I hand it over to him. Sometimes there are battles in life. If you find that you are dating a spouse that they are really, really hard and annoying to communicate with, if you have a prayer life or if you have a coach, they can coach you to actually break through so you can communicate with that person. There's ways that you can use to find that breakthrough so you can communicate with somebody that is really, really hard. For me, I don't live a normal life. I've been told so many times that I'm not normal because I break through to people that people find it difficult. Sometimes like when I met my spouse, he was a guy that was known for not committing. I remember his sister coming to me and saying, "What did you do to my brother?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What did I do to your brother?" And he was like, "He doesn't do serious relationship." And I said, "No, he does a serious relationship, but he's not met the person that he wants to settle down with." So maybe that is the case, because I didn't do anything. All I did was not to fake it. I had to be me. I had to tell the guy my principles of life, my desires of life, my values of life. My life is very, very exciting, guys. The reason why my life is really, really exciting, I don't complicate things. My life is very, very simple. Very, 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 very simple. If I say I go to the gym, I go to the gym. I have fun. If I say I'm going running, I go running. If I say, okay, I'm not going to go running today, I'm going to go running, I'm going to dance at home. If I'm not here, these guys miss me because where's mommy? Because when I'm at home, everyone knows that mommy's at home. It means happy. They are happy. So my life is very, very, very simple. But in this world, we live with people that take life too serious. If I'm in a relationship, honey, you know, people are posting pictures on Facebook going on holiday. I want to go on holiday. I want to post pictures. I want to go for a meal. I want to post pictures. We put pressure after pressure in our relationship, and we end up no relationship. Me, I keep life very, very simple. If you see me posting, I'm posting because I've been out. Or if I go out or I don't post anything. So I keep my family's life very, very simple. My spouse, he has no pressure. He knows he's free. In everything he does, he knows he's free. So I don't put pressure on anybody. But I have friends that I talk to, and they are like, my spouse doesn't. I'm like, seriously? Do you really have to do it? Or sometimes if somebody doesn't want to go out, we sit at home, we can watch movie, we can do things, we can do all those things. I keep really things very, very simple. I don't live a life comparing my life with somebody else. But all I can say is if you have a spouse that does not really, is hard to break through, find ways to communicate, don't push them. Find ways, the funny side, there's a funny side in them. Break through that funny side without blaming. We do not blame our spouse to get what we want. We do not want to win the argument. It is like winning the argument to say, I'm going to win the argument, so I'm going to blame this one. You know, we don't do that. We let people be. If a relationship is not working, it's a teamwork. We evaluate it together. So it's the teamwork where you and your spouse, you are the provider. A woman is a provider, a man is a provider, a man is an architect, a woman is a mentor. So we are all have to balance each other. If a relationship is not working, we can come together to solve it and find a solution. That's all I'm saying. Those who are dating men who are really, really hard, or women who are really, really hard, find a soft spot of them or in them, or simply there is really hard because of what they've been through, letting go of the past. So if you are willing to date that person, try to break through to them so you can get coaching. I do coaching as well, where I go to the foundation of life. I go to your ancestors. So when we do the coaching, I need to know more. I need to know about your ancestors' history. I need to know what they got up to, the lifestyle they lived. If you have met them, you have to go and ask your grandmother or your great grandmother, tell me the story, because I need to know. Because that story, when you look at your ancestors, were they married? Were they controlling? Was your grandfather controlling in that relationship, controlling your mother? How was your relationship, their relationship like? How was your father like when he was dating your mother? So you have to look at those things and break that. If there is a pattern that keeps repeating, that can be transferred to the children, where a daughter start behaving like a mother, like your mother had a divorce, and then you start divorcing, and then maybe your father divorced, the son start living that life, like father, like son is life. So you need to break that pattern. So I go into that foundation in order to find that breakthrough. Or simple, the ancestors, the grandparents, they lived a wonderful life. But we are in this generation where everybody wants to behave like somebody, or we live in a generation where we believe that relationships, it has to be ready-made. We don't need to work on them. So it could be simply there's something that need to break through within yourself. It's got nothing to do with ancestors, or it's got nothing to do with your parents. It could be the issue is there within you. So, but there are patterns where they can just go round and round and round and round. It's like a sickness. When you go to the doctors, the doctor, the first thing when you're sick, they're like, Do you have any history, family history that I need to know? That's what happens with life. If you follow Dr. Olukoya, he's a very, very powerful preacher. He talks about those kind of things. And those things they have helped me to become the person that I am today. Because on my father's side, there was this thing of divorce pattern. On my mother's side, divorce pattern as well. So I had to break that, so that I don't live the life like mother, like daughter's life. So you have to break that. And also, my parents divorced. And when they divorced, they left me with that attachment of divorce. So I had to break that attachment of divorce. I didn't want the divorce because I went through divorce as well. So, but after that, that's when I realized that actually I need to break this attachment of divorce. So there are so many things we can do to make sure that we are happy. And guys, I'm gonna have to go now because I think I have a meeting at 2 p.m. So what I leave with you guys is avoid blaming, criticizing your spouse and criticizing yourself too. And also stay calm and respectful to your spouse and to yourself. And choose the right time and the right place to actually confront the situation. Be empathetic and ask open-ended questions with your spouse. Avoid interrupting. And if you want to learn more about interrupting, guys, my house, I have an 8-year-old daughter who does not like to be interrupted when she speaks. She wants everyone to pay attention. She does not like to be interrupted. I'm learning from her. She does not like that. She doesn't like not to be listened when she speaks to you. She wants you to listen, because when you're saying you're listening, she'll go back and ask you, what did I say from the beginning, mommy? So, blah, blah, blah. So I have to make sure that I listen. So it's very, very important. But I didn't finish the thing. I think I might go back maybe tomorrow. So if I go back tomorrow, if I'm on my own tomorrow, I'll go back to it. I'll do part 2. So where I can go back to it. And then tomorrow, if I'm on my own as well, we can do the exercises to keep our body alive, the rhythm dance of life. So some of you guys have seen my videos where I do the rhythm dance of life. So we can see, because life is a dance. So you have to make sure that you are dancing your song, you are singing your own music and not somebody else. You're walking your path, the path of you and your spouse. So I'm going to finish that tomorrow. If by any chance you need any coaching and you want to find love, you can go to my website, www.hseia. You can fill out the form. And the matchmaking for men and women, I'm a matchmaker for men, so it's so different. With men, you have to give me a call. I come to your house. As long as you can afford to pay for matchmaking, we are good to go. Come to your house, do the assessment, what needs to be done. Then we go on a first date with me or with the staff. Staff member that is available normally is me. We do the mini date where I evaluate. I don't tell my clients, but I'm evaluating what they do, any better habit that my clients can pick on. So I meet men first thing. With women, I meet them on Zoom. Before I meet them. Okay, so here's my meeting, my next meeting. So then I have to meet them. So you can go to the website and just fill out the form. And once you go to the website, and I get back to you for women, arrange a meeting, Zoom meeting, so we can chat. It's either me or a member of the staff, so it depends. But if you just want to coaching to find your voice, there's a different page where you can just book for a free coaching, and just get in touch. We'll get in touch with you if you want coaching, or you can message me on my social media. And if you just want to book Ngozi talk shows for the day, just to pick our brains, you have that option just to book us to come to you, maybe 4 people, 5 people. We just live a life and show you how we live. Or if you just want to book NOMSA for the day, you can just book. As long as you can afford NOMSA, you can just book. There's that option on the website. So live with grace, everyone. You can follow us on our social media and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. God bless you.